Hi everybody, today we are going to talk about the topic of changing tourism flows. Tourism industry is dramatically changing in a global stage. Tourism flows are hot debated and discussed by the community. 1987, Pierce stated, tourism flows are an origin, linkage, destination framework which takes entry and departure, the place visited, and routines into account. In 2003, Zhao Lan summarized the definitions of tourism flows to have two characters. The first is the directions, which is the static origin destination configuration. The second is the pattern, which is the dynamic connectivity, as tourism flows convey the dynamic and the static nature of movement. The global inequity in tourism exists between the more developed world and less developed world. And more developed countries, MDCs for short, are collectively the more developed world. They include Australia, New Zealand, United States, Canada, Europe, and Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Singapore. And the less developed world are cumulatively the less developed countries, MDCs for short. The major LDCs are the Latin America, Caribbean, and most of Asia, Africa, and the island of Pacific and Indian Oceans. The wealthy Middle East oil-producing countries are also included because of the cultural affiliations with the regional countries and the social indicators such as the higher fertility and the baby mortality rates. But many countries also have both MDC-like and LDC-like spaces within their own boundary. The periphery area occurred with the hedonistic seas and sun tourism products and straddle both the developed and less developed worlds. Four patterns of contemporary international tourism flows are going to be specifically introduced in our video. Pattern 1 is from MDCs to MDCs. Pattern 2 is from MDCs to LDCs. Pattern 3 is from LDCs to LDCs, and Pattern 4 is from LDCs to MDCs.
Hi, this is Jessica. I'm going to introduce the first pattern. The first pattern involving the movement of international tourists from more developed countries to more developed countries emerged in the post-World War II period and still accounts for 63% of all traffic. This pattern can be described as the democratization of travel and made domestic as well as international travel accessible to the middle and the working classes. Such a rapid expansion of tourism flow is linked to three reasons. The first is the increase of available income and the decrease of working time of wage earners in the majority of developed countries. Second, the population of the developed countries has the level of education and the disposable income to regard a holiday as an essential feature of their life. Accordingly, entertainment and leisure industries all improve steadily. Finally, the decrease of the transport charges between two destinations takes into account the considerable development of transport. Most tourists, being citizens of developed countries, are used to modern and efficient transport infrastructure, and they expect to experience in the destination country comforts similar to home. Let's take France as an example. France is the most visited country by international tourists in 2010, with around 76.8 million tourist arrivals. The United Kingdom, Germany, and Belgium and Luxembourg are three of the most important tourist-generating areas, accounting for 44% of the total inbound tourists. Therefore, the French government initiated a strategic plan called Destination France 2020, bringing a number of positive impacts towards their tourism environment.
It focused on some objectives, such as updating the tourist product to respond to new expectations, including a restructuring of the hotel classification system and financial loans for hotel improvements, and promoting the new French brand, which will portray the importance of hospitality and highlight the quality and distinct traits of the destination.
Hi there, this is Dolores, and I'm going to introduce the second pattern of tourist flow, which is flow from MDC to FDC.
This second pattern is largely associated with the emergence of pleasure periphery after late 1960s. Involves the movement of MDC residents to LDC destinations. Approximately 20% of international stayover traffic presently falls into this category. And how does it come? First, it's about globalization. One cause of this growth is the globalization process that enhanced mobility and improved accessibility to LDCs. The globalization process and the related tourism together spread further the information regarding economic prospects and tend to encourage people to move to places where they can find better economic opportunities. Second, it's about the demand for 3S tourism from MDCs. Dramatic 20th century advance in air transportation technology combined with the overall development process and changing social perceptions to greatly extend the distribution, scale, and market range of seaside and beach resorts. While the quantity of English seaside resorts went into decline in the mid-1960s, this modern phase of expansion in 3S tourism, most development was situated within the less developed world, such as the South Pacific and Indian Ocean basins. Since Fiji gross earnings from tourism in Q1 2011 are provisionally estimated at 209.4 million, and most of the revenue and visitors in Fiji were from Australia. I'm going to choose Fiji and Australia as an example to explain some of the impacts of this particular pattern of tourist flow. First is about the modernization and development, socio-economic impacts. LDCs were undoubtedly being modernized in the sense of being incorporated more closely into the world economic system with the expansion of the cash economic and wage labor and introduction of Western norms and values. Employment arising directly from tourism, for example in hotels, may be relatively little, and such establishments, at least some local residents, perhaps playing a key role in the country's class structure, while the residents of LDCs were subsisted on farming and fishing until it was discovered by international tourists. The result was an intense pressure on their infrastructure, and the need for electricity, a central water supply, and a system of sewage disposal soon became apparent. With the invasion of middle-class and family-oriented tourists, the amount of garbage and other forms of pollution increased. Perhaps the most obvious effect on tourism is on the physical landscape. In most of the cases, the likely effects on climate change on fish habitats and the productivity of oceanic, coastal, and inland fisheries and aquaculture are concerned alike. In view of the potential impact, some of the development strategies aimed at increasing the industry's role have not been formulated in a political and theoretical vacuum. Rather, they have been based on different, sometimes competing, perspectives of what constitutes modernization and development. While there are still some management strategies. For Fiji and Australia, in recognition of the importance of fishery and the current potential impacts, the Secretariat of the Pacific Community of Pacific, SPC, and AUSAID have joined forces to a project. It aims to equip police makers and managers in Pacific Island countries and territories with information on how climate change might affect their plans for the sustainable use of fish for food, employment, and national revenue.